Hey, what's up guys? It's Ryan with FrontRangeFloaters, and today I wanted to give you my 500-mile review of the Begode Extreme. Let's dive in. The Extreme was the latest and greatest trail-focused wheel to come from the Begode factory. This wheel was designed alongside Chance Hines, a respected trail rider in the community, and because of that, this thing comes race-ready right out of the box. The Extreme is equipped with a power-hungry 3,500 watt, high-torque C40 motor paired with a 2,400 watt-hour battery pack with Samsung 50E cells that when combined allow you to hit a top speed of 53 miles an hour while still giving you 35 to 40 miles of range when going about the speed of 35 miles an hour. With the new full metal design, more robust seals and gaskets, this thing can take a beating and will allow you to go anywhere your abilities can take you without too much worry about breaking down while out on the trails. And after the most recent software updates, this thing is not only one of the best trail wheels, it's also one of the best jump wheels. But not without a little bit of help from the aftermarket community. More on that in a bit. The Extreme has a futuristic, cyberpunk design that is sure to catch some eyes no matter what you're doing, whether you're riding around town or walking around your local supermarket. And because of what you can do on this thing, you're always dropping jaws. Whether you're flying down the trail or you're flying through the air like Superman, you're always sure to turn some heads and inspire a few kids along the way. What's more impressive about this wheel than its speed is its braking abilities. This is the first EUC that I felt truly confident in my abilities to stop in an emergency situation, and that's a huge win for safety in my book. And speaking of safety, this is the first wheel to come from Begode with a smart BMS, along with a few other safety features that I don't quite understand yet, like PWM warnings and field weakening. But it does come with a cold charge port, meaning that it's going to make charging this thing just a little bit safer. Now this wheel has some pretty decent power pads and jump pads from factory, and although I suggest cutting them in the middle so that you can move them independently and get a more locked in feeling, overall they seem to do the job pretty well. The Extreme comes with a pretty comfortable seat and a pretty decent speaker that makes riding this thing on group rides an absolute blast. And they give you pretty decent spiked honeycomb pedals from factory that should hold up to most of the abuse that you can throw them, with the exception of the thinner Begode pedals that come with the 40T version. And when you take into account the stock knobby CTS tire that comes on this wheel, you have an absolute control over your EUC, and it feels amazing on trails. That is, right until it starts to tip over on a corner. And that brings us to some of the cons I have with this wheel. Despite it being a 16-inch wheel, it's almost 90 pounds. And even though they went ahead and gave you some really nice CNC handles, you're not going to want to haul this thing up multiple flights of stairs. And because of that weight, I find it to be a little bit more top heavy than something like the S22 Pro. making some of these tight turns at higher speeds to be a bit more of a hassle for me. But I'm sure you can overcome that with body positioning over time. Another con I have for this wheel is the stock pads, and although they have a beautiful industrial design to them, they also have an industrial feel to them. They are cheap, not very comfortable, and they tear pretty easily. And because of that, it has me looking at 3D printing some with the same design in a better material that'll hold up to a few drops. And that's not something I really wanted to have to do on a $2,000 device. The last negative thing I have to say about the Extreme is no matter what suspension they ship this wheel to you with, it doesn't feel good. And I know that feel is subjective, but it's either too stiff and feels like a pogo stick, or it bottoms out so easily that you end up breaking and bending multiple parts. Okay, and so now that you've heard some of the pros and cons of this wheel, let's go show you some of what it can do.
I was down, but now I'm up. Yeah. This all God, this ain't no lie. Yeah. I used to be stuck in that mud. Whoa. Yeah, I was down, but now I'm up. I was down, but now I'm up. Yeah. This all God, this ain't no lie. Yeah. I used to be stuck in that mud. Yeah. Yeah, I was down, but now I'm I was down, but now I'm up like my name Lazarus. No Satan gon' be mad at this. I had to ask my dad if it's okay to swing my bat at this. He said, boy, if I picture this out of the park, moving so quick it's like they stuck in park. They see the numbers, but I see the heart. 10,000 hours you spent in the dark, putting in good work, even though you didn't even know that it would work. Talking about a man who grew up in woodwork, do it for the love of it, that's the way it should work. Yeah, yeah. I know some people gon' look at me crazy and I'm like, for what? Man, I was stuck, I was down, but now I'm up. Yeah. This all God, this ain't no love. Yeah. I used to be stuck in that mud. Yeah. Yeah, I was down, but now I'm up. I was down, but now I'm
down, now I'm up like a seesaw. When I'm on a beat like an old man's lawn, better keep off. From the ground to the treetops, got clouds on my feet like Jack in the Beanstalk. Jumped off quick, went straight in a free fall. Cowboy hat and the mic singing yeehaw. Landed on my feet like a feline, put him back in the seat like a recline. Ay, what you mean I'm not worthy? Did it with a purpose, didn't need a permit. Digging from the bottom and I brought it to the surface. Mind your business now, who I worship. Who the little guy making big moves. Tick tock, turn it to a tick boom. Yeah, I talk a lot of stuff, probably thought it was a bluff, till I went and turned it where
I was down, but now I'm up. Let's go. Yeah. This all God, this ain't no love. Yeah. I used to be stuck in that mud. Yeah. Yeah, I was down, but now I'm up. I was down, but now I'm
Oh. Okay, so what are my final thoughts on this wheel? For $2,600, is this reel right for you? Or should you go with something a little bit more expensive like the InMotion V14? Would the Begode T4 Pro be a little bit better for you? Or would you be better off going with something like the Veteran Patent instead? Well, for me personally, I think it's pretty clear where my money went. And if it was up to me, I would take into account all of the things that I want out of a wheel, whether that's speed, range, trail riding abilities, the ability to jump, and make a list, whether it's realistic or not. And then I would get whatever wheel speaks to you the most, because at the end of the day, you know, you're going to be the one that's riding it. And I've got to say, I'm absolutely loving the Begode Extreme. Alright, and that's all I have for today. And if you'd like to see my long-term review of the S22 Pro, go ahead and leave a like and a comment on this video, and make sure to subscribe to see more content. I'll see you on the next one. Bye. And if you're looking to get your first Eevee, or just looking to add the latest and greatest to the lineup, go ahead and click the link below, or scan the QR code to get started today.
So close. Oh.